ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. I am yours truly, the one and only Brother Ricky, and I am happy to be with you all here this morning on P Stars Radio. Yes, I am happy to be with you here on P Stars Radio. The time is now 10:32 a.m. 10:32 a.m. And as always, God is good. God is good all the time. I'm breathing. I'm alive, and that is enough to be grateful for. As per usual, I would like to start off, as I would with all of my previous shows, by asking all the viewers that are watching, how are you doing so far? Are you doing all right? Are you taking care of your health? And when I'm talking about your health, I mean your mental, physical, and your spiritual health. Are you taking care of these things? Are you managing these things? We can only do our best to manage these things as much as possible, and so I implore, and exhort you to do so, to take care of these things to the best of your ability. So I'm going to go real quick into offering the solutions to managing these things. Okay, so number one, like I always like to push out and encourage, is to always go to God in prayer, right? Always go to God in prayer and seeking his assistance, seeking his help. Mom, thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate it. But again, going to God in prayer and seeking his assistance for him to help you in terms of managing your mental, physical, and your spiritual health. So that's solution number one. Another solution could be to work out. Another solution could also be to read a book. Some people read books to manage these things. Some people work out to manage these things, right? You could also go to therapy. That may work for some people, but that may not also work for other people. But you can go to therapy. You can speak to somebody that is close to you, a relative, a family member. But again, this has to be somebody that you can trust to speak about your situations with, right? So you want to make sure you can do that as well, speaking to somebody that you can ultimately trust about your situations, again, regarding your mental, physical, and your spiritual health, all right? So these are just a few things that are what I might call solutions that can help you manage your mental, physical, and your spiritual health as much as possible. And so I highly encourage you to take these things and apply it into your life as much as possible, right? There may be other solutions, but these are the solutions that I have for the time being. So again, I encourage you all to take these things seriously, and I encourage you to apply them and use them in your daily life, all right? So again, that's that. And I want to move straight into the trades. So I did bring up last Saturday that I'll go into the trades for the NBA, because there's a lot of trades that has been or that has passed, that has happened, and a lot of them do seem a little bit crazy to me, right? At least to me, right? Some of you guys might think differently, but I haven't gotten into the trades yet. But again, to me, just to me, a lot of these trades do seem wild, in my opinion. But yeah, it's a lot. It's a whole lot. And I'm gonna start off with the one that a lot of people may already be or may have already heard, and that is the trade with, first off, Kevin Durant. So for those of you who don't know, who don't already know, who probably might be living under a rock, which honestly isn't too bad, because you got to get away from the world sometime. But for those of you who have been living under a rock, Kevin Durant has been traded to the Houston Rockets. So the Houston Rockets has received Kevin Durant in trades for Jalen Green and Dillon Brooks going to the Phoenix Suns. So in receiving Kevin Durant, the Phoenix Suns have received Jalen Green and Dillon Brooks from the Houston Rockets. And I believe as well Cam Whitmore has also been traded from the Houston Rockets as well to go to, if I'm not mistaken, the Washington Wizards. Now, the reason why this is crazy to me, I'm gonna start with this. The reason why this trade is a little bit crazy to me because one, granted, Kevin Durant is very, very like you don't even need me to say this. Kevin Durant is a crazy talented player, right? He's crazy talented. He's a one-time champion, right, with the Golden State Warriors, right? And he's nothing short of a hooper. But I was always under the impression that the Houston Rockets were going to, because this is the same thought process that I had with Luka and the Mavs. I thought the Houston Rockets were going to continue to build around players like Jalen Green, right? Maybe not Dylan Brooks, but Jalen Green, of course. I thought they were going to build around him, right? Because they already had the defense. They were pushing, because, again, for those of you who may not know, I'm a Golden State Warriors fan, right? And the Houston Rockets are pushing Golden State Warriors to the brink of elimination during last season's playoff, right? They were close to knocking us out of the playoff series, which was crazy in itself. But they already had the defense, right? They already had the defense on point, locked down and everything, right? And I guess they needed to develop a little bit more with the offense, but they had Ime Udoka. So he was doing something right. Ime Udoka was doing something right with that team to help them advance all the way to the playoffs. But now to hear that they give up Jalen Green, you give up Jalen Green and Dylan Brooks to receive Kevin Durant, I truly don't know how much of a difference this would make. I'm being honest here. Granted, they have Fred VanVleet. Yes. They now have Kevin Durant. They also have Jabari Smith Jr., Alperen Şengün, and who else? I mean, they have guys like this. I truly don't know, and my opinions may be way off here, right? They may be way off, but I just don't see. I don't know if they'll make it. Does this sound right? I don't know if they'll make it all the way to the playoffs. I truly don't. Because if Kevin Durant could not do this with Devin Booker and Bradley Beal, I don't know how he'll be able to do this with the Houston Rockets. Do I sound crazy for saying this? I don't know. I might sound crazy for saying this, but again, I thought that the Houston Rockets would have focused on building with Jalen Green instead of without him. But now seeing that they trade Jalen Green and Dylan Brooks to go all the way to Phoenix to receive Kevin Durant, this just seems a bit off to me. But that's my opinion on how that looks to me so far. But hey, business is business, right? Business is straight business. Business with the NBA. So we can only wait to find out what the team will look like come this upcoming season in the NBA, coming around October. So yeah, you guys let me know what you guys think about that, man. You let me know what you think about that because, again, I wanted to see Jalen Green continue to play for the Houston Rockets and continue to see the Houston Rockets build around him, you know, to run it back again to make it to the NBA Finals. Not the NBA Finals, but the NBA playoffs. To run it back all over again, right? To go to the playoffs and ultimately make it to the finals because this is a young core group as well, the Houston Rockets, aside from having a veteran with Fred VanVleet. But now all of that has changed. All of that is gone now. Not completely, because again, they still have Jabari Smith and they have Alperen Şengün and a couple other players as well. But all that's changed with Jalen Green gone now and Dylan Brooks. But hey, that's just me, all right? That's just me. Another trade that has happened as well is Lonzo Ball. So Lonzo Ball is another trade that has caught my attention as well. Lonzo Ball has been traded from the Chicago Bulls and is now playing in the Cleveland Cavaliers alongside Donovan Mitchell, Evan Mobley, and I believe Karis LeVert. So Lonzo Ball has been traded to the Cleveland Cavaliers, and the Cleveland Cavaliers, I believe, has traded Isaac Okoro. So Isaac Okoro has been traded from the Cleveland Cavaliers, and now playing for the Chicago Bulls. So that's nothing too crazy for me, right? Nothing too crazy for me. I don't know it's because of the Chicago Bulls being afraid of Lonzo Ball's injury, right? But yeah, this doesn't seem too crazy to me. Lonzo Ball, I believe, definitely could be a big help to Donovan Mitchell in terms of assists, because make no mistake, Lonzo Ball is a lethal player when it comes to assists, right? Great shooter at that as well. Great shooter at that. But I think he could be a big help to both Donovan Mitchell, to Darius Garland, right? Because these guys, the Cleveland Cavaliers, I was shocked. I was completely shocked at how they lost to the Indiana Pacers in the playoffs. They were in the number 1 seed last season, the number 1 seed in the NBA. And to be eliminated by the Indiana Pacers would be a very heartbreaking situation for me, no less. Because, again, these guys were going off. The Cavaliers were going off last season. They were going crazy. No injuries, not that I'm aware of, but no injuries and none of that. And they were going off. But somehow, some way, they were not able to defeat the Indiana Pacers to continue to advance into the playoffs and ultimately make it to the finals. So who knows? Who knows? Lonzo Ball could be the piece or the missing piece that they needed to be able to make it far into the NBA Finals for next season. Only time will tell. Noel, I see you coming into the live. I appreciate it, boss. Thank you for tuning in. Maybe, just maybe, Lonzo might be the missing piece that the Cavaliers needed to be able to make it all the way to the finals for next season. Again, only time will tell. And Isaac Okoro for the Chicago Bulls. I don't know. I truly don't know how much of a difference he would make for the team. For the Chicago Bulls, I'm talking about, because last season they did lose. What was his name? Oh, excuse me. He's playing for the Sacramento Kings now. How could I forget his name? Nonetheless, he's playing for the Sacramento Kings right now. So they lost a veteran player with this mystery player that I forgot his name, but they now have. It looks like a young group, mainly a young group of players in the Chicago Bulls. So they could be focusing on building in that team right now. So with Isaac Okoro, he could be a good help. Should I say he could be a good help? But I don't know how much of a difference he could make for this team to at least help them make it to the playoffs for next season. I don't know, but we'll just have to see with what happens there. All right. So that's a team that's a trade. Sorry, that I've also noticed with that. And then what else? Oh, right. So for the Denver Nuggets has decided to trade MPJ. So MPJ is now going to be playing in the Brooklyn Nets, right? He's going to be playing with the Brooklyn Nets for next season. And the Brooklyn Nets, in receiving MPJ, they traded, if I'm not mistaken, Cameron Johnson. So the Brooklyn Nets traded Cameron Johnson to go play in the Denver Nuggets, and receiving Michael Porter Jr. Right? So, listen, I wasn't expecting this. I definitely wasn't expecting this. They lost, the Denver Nuggets did lose to the Thunders for the playoff series, right? So the Thunder stopped the Denver Nuggets from having a repeat championship, right? And I was expecting them to keep the same core group of players in the roster for next season, Maybe a little bit of a tweak here and there, but not MPJ. I did not expect them to trade MPJ. I would think that they would continue to have Michael Porter Jr., Jamal Murray, and Nikola Jokic, one of the three big players in that group, in my opinion. In my opinion, I would think they would keep these three guys on the team to continue to work around these guys and having a chance at running it back again for next season to make it into the playoffs. That's what I thought. But clearly, that wasn't their plan. That wasn't their idea of what they wanted to do. And so now they're going to add Cam Johnson to their roster to see what he can do to help them. Because I think Brooklyn Nets are now with they now have, who else? They have MPJ now. Do they have Mikal Bridges? No, Mikal Bridges has been traded to the New York Knicks. So I don't know how much of a who else is in the Brooklyn Nets? I don't know who of the core or who of the top players in the Brooklyn Nets are playing on the roster as of now alongside MPJ, but with Cameron Johnson now playing for the Denver Nuggets, he could potentially be a big help in terms of, how can I say this, playmaking, right? I don't mean to disrespect this guy here, right? I don't mean to disrespect Cameron Johnson, but he could make a difference in terms of playmaking for the Denver Nuggets, and also assisting with Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray in advancing to the NBA playoffs for next season. That's as far as I can see with Cameron Johnson. But yeah, this was definitely a surprise for me. I wouldn't want it myself. I would not want it myself. I wouldn't want to trade MPJ, but this isn't my team, right? I'm not in the NBA. This isn't my team. This is their decision, and business goes as business goes. All right, so that's what it's looking like so far for that trade. And then what else? I believe there's another trade that caught my attention. Yes, this as well. So it is with a heavy heart, man. This kind of hurt me. This kind of hurt my soul here when I heard about this. So Kevin Looney, who once played for the Golden State Warriors, because again, for y'all that know me, I'm a Golden State Warriors fan. Kevin Looney has been traded from the Golden State Warriors. Man, it hurts. It hurts for me even saying this. Now, when I heard about this, I almost thought that he was retiring, but that wasn't the case. Kevin Looney is being traded to the New Orleans Pelicans. So the New Orleans Pelicans are receiving Kevin Looney from us, but I don't know if we are receiving anybody from the New Orleans Pelicans. Not that I'm aware of, at least. Yeah, it doesn't look like we're receiving anybody from the New Orleans Pelicans. So we've lost somebody, but we didn't gain anybody from that loss, which is heartbreaking, man, because Kevin Looney is a crazy center. This man has been doing crazy things for us in 2021, when we defeated the Boston Celtics in the playoffs. Man, that was a crazy run when we had Kevin Looney playing for us. But now, unfortunately, he has been traded to the New Orleans Pelicans. And again, we received nobody, at least from that group. We've received nobody after trading him, which sucks a whole lot. But listen, I wish Kevin Looney the best. I definitely wish Kevin Looney the best in terms of what he's going to be able to contribute for the New Orleans Pelicans, because I do think he can contribute a whole lot to the Pelicans in terms of what he did for us. So yeah, that's what it's looking like for the Golden State Warriors. Um, Time is running really fast here, so I'm going to I'm going to stop with this. There's more. There's definitely more trades that has happened that were crazy. That I'm gonna get into more. I'm gonna get into more of that next Saturday. I'm gonna save some of that next Saturday for our show. But yeah, yeah. There's definitely more trades that has happened. You guys probably know of a few of them already so far, but I'm gonna get into that so far next Saturday in my show. But I'm gonna leave off with some matchups, some matchups for tonight. We have some matchups for the WNBA. Hold on a minute. Okay, yeah. So I'm gonna get into some matchups tonight for the WNBA or this afternoon. So for the WNBA, we have the Minnesota Lynx, who will be taking on the Chicago Skies. The Minnesota Lynx will be taking on Lynx. Sorry, the Minnesota Lynx will be taking on the Chicago Sky at 1 p.m. this afternoon. And then at 4 p.m., we have the Golden State Valkyries, who will be taking on the Las Vegas Aces at 4 p.m. So those are your matchups for the WNBA. And then for the NBA Summer League, because like I brought up last Saturday, the NBA Summer League started, well, not necessarily started, but the real matches started on the 10th, which was 2 days ago, for the NBA Summer League. And so for this afternoon, we have our matchups with the Cleveland Cavaliers, who will be taking on the Milwaukee Bucks at 3:30 p.m. And again, this is a Summer League here. So Cleveland Cavaliers going on against the Milwaukee Bucks. We have the Dallas Mavericks, who will be taking on the San Antonio Spurs. We have the Indiana Pacers facing off against the Oklahoma City Thunder. We have the Charlotte Hornets, who will be taking on the Philadelphia 76ers. We have the Sacramento Kings, who will be taking on the Chicago Bulls. We have the Los Angeles Lakers taking on the New Orleans Pelicans. Minnesota Timberwolves, who will be taking on the Denver Nuggets. And then finally, we have the Memphis Grizzlies, who will be facing off against the Portland Trailblazers. So these are your matchups for the NBA Summer League. And I also like to mention, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has officially now become the cover. Not that any of you care, probably. You probably don't care about this, but he has recently been chosen, to be in the front cover of NBA 2K26. Now, this is a lot that you could put in the books this year for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, considering he's won NBA MVP, NBA Finals MVP, and he's won NBA Finals champion, and he's becoming the front cover of NBA 2K26. So hey, if this is not a book that if this is not something that you can add in the book of his accomplishments, I truly don't know what is, because this man has been doing it all. He's been doing it all this year. So congrats to him for that, and I believe Angel Reese has made front cover for WNBA 2K26 as well. Now, honestly, if it were me, I would want that to go to no hate to Angel Reese. All right, no hate to Angel Reese, but I would rather have that go to either A'ja Wilson, if not A'ja Wilson, Caitlin Clark. But that's just me, all right? All right, aside from that, I'm going to go into the Bible verse of the day. I'm going to go into the Bible verse of the day to close out. And the verse will be coming from Matthew chapter 7, verses 13 through 14. Matthew chapter 7, verses 13 through 14. Verset sorti dans Matthieu chapitre 7, verset 13 à 14. Matthieu chapitre 7, verset 13 à 14. I will begin reading. So, the verse reads, Enter through the narrow gate, for wide is the gate, and broad is the road that leads to destruction, and many enter through it. But small is the gate, and narrow the road that leads to life, and only a few find it. Please allow me to read that verse for you one more time. And it reads, Enter through the narrow gate, for wide is the gate, and broad is the road that leads to destruction, and many enter through it. But small is the gate, and narrow the road that leads to life, and only a few find it. I'm going to take the time to read this for you in Creole now. Verset li kon sa. Entre nan pot jis la, paske pot ki laj la, chemin ki fasil, la menen nou tout droit nan la mort. Gen pile moun qui passe là dans li. Mais, porte qui jis là, chemin qui difficile, la mène nous tout droit dans la vie. Pas gen un pile moun qui joine li. M'bois li verset ça, m'bois li tous les deux versets pour encore. Li li comme ça. Entre dans porte jis là. Parce que porte qui large là, chemin qui facile, la mène nous tout droit dans la mort. Gen pile moun qui passe là dans li. Mais porte qui jis là, chemin qui difficile, la mène nous tout droit dans la vie. Pas gen pile moun qui joine li. So, the verse kind of speaks for itself. Right? The verse kind of speaks for itself. We all know that wickedness and living in sin is something that is completely easy. It's easy for anybody to do. It's easy for anybody to live in sin. It's easy for anybody to live in wickedness, right? It's easy for anybody or everybody to live in those things. And so you're going to see the vast majority of people walking in a road that leads to self-destruction. You're going to see a lot of people that's going to take the easy route, the path to, should I say, least resistance. And the path that is holds least resistance is the path that leads to destruction. The path that leads to death, right? And this is the path that a lot of people are taking. This is a path that a large crowd is following and walking into. Whereas for the opposite, right, where the opposite side stands, where the path that is narrow, the path that is small, right, this is the path that leads to life. This is a path that is difficult for people to follow, and a path that is difficult for people to find. Because again, not a lot of people find nor walk this path, right? The path where you are required to walk in righteousness, the path where you are required to walk in obedience, the path where you are required to walk without wickedness or without iniquities, right? This path is a path that not many people can find. And this path is a path where it is very difficult for people to find and very difficult for people to walk. Because again, a lot of people would like to turn towards the path of least resistance, the path where it's easy to sin, the path where it is easy to do what is wrong, right? But it all comes down to your choice, because God has given us the free will to choose. And so we all must make a choice as to what path we want to take. Are we going to take the path of least resistance, right? The path that everybody is taking, right? The path that is wide, that is big, and the path that leads to destruction. Are we going to choose to take that path, or are we going to choose to take the path that is difficult, the path that requires you to look yourself in the mirror and hold yourself accountable. The path that requires you to be obedient. Obedient to who? To be obedient to God's will. Are you going to choose to take that path that leads ultimately to life? Or are you going to take that path? And unsurprisingly, because we're all sinners, right? Unsurprisingly, you're going to find the large majority, and as sad as it sounds, you're going to find the large majority who is going to be willing to take the path that everybody else is taking. You're going to find a lot of people that are going to be willing to take the path of least resistance. So, I ask you, all of you that are watching, what path are you willing to choose? What path are you willing to take? Are you willing to take the path that is wide, big, the path that is with least resistance, right? The path that is easy, the path that is filled with wickedness, iniquity, sin? Or are you willing to choose the path that is narrow, that is tight, that is small, right? The path that is full of, difficulty, full of obstacles, challenges, right? But that ultimately leads to life. Are you willing to take that path? The choice is up to you. The choice is up to you, right? Pour tout moun kap gade, gede chwa gen. Ou ka pran wout ki pa tro gros, mais wout sa la mène nan la vie. Mais est-ce que wap choisi wout sa ou bien wap choisi wout ki pi gros? En pile moun kon pran wout sa. En pile moun choisi wout sa parce que li facile pour capable vivre dans chemin. Li facile pour capable vivre dans façon bon Dieu pas mandé pour vivre là dans li. Li facile pour prendre route ça, mais est-ce que on prend route ça qui puis devant la mène dans la mort ou bien est-ce que on choisi pour prendre route qui mène dans la vie? Choix c'est pour lui. Parce que changer ça, bon Dieu bon nous toute opportunité pour nous pour un choix peut-être pas nous. So qui choix à prendre? Sanville, moi monter sur live là, on salue. Qui choix à prendre? Ces décisions ou supposé prendre peut-être pas. Est-ce qu'on prend choix pour prendre route qui pas trop gros ou bien est-ce qu'on prend route qui plus gros? Parce que route qui plus gros, il y a un pile monde qui prend route ça et puis route ça li mène tout le monde dans la mort, dans destruction, mais route qui pas plus gros, c'est route ça qui mène dans la vie. C'est route ça qui mène monde rive dans pied bon Dieu. Qui décision à prendre? Qui route va choisir pour prendre? C'est sa question. What decision or what choice are you going to make? Again, I'm going to ask this one more time. What decision or what choice are you going to make for yourself? Are you going to choose the route that is small, narrow, right? That is full of challenges, that is full of difficulties, but at the end of the road, it leads to life. It leads to Jesus Christ. Or are you going to choose the road that is wide, that is big, and that is the path of least resistance, but ultimately leads to death? Again, the choice is yours. I will see you all again next Saturday, right here, around the same time as per usual, around 10:30, to give you all of my talks, all of my opinions regarding sports, NBA, NFL, MLB, soccer, whatever the case may be, all right? I love you guys, and I will see you guys then. Oh, and tune in again to my show on Tuesdays as well, where I just talk about random topics in general, all right? So I love you guys, and I'll see you guys then. Peace.